Hey, welcome back, heroes. Thank you so much for joining me for another recap slash review of a really good comic, Seven Secrets. This one just keeps me constantly at the edge of my seat. I have to put it down every single time I read it, gather my bearings, then read it again. It's just so good from the writing from Tom Taylor and to the art, especially the art from. I always feel like I'm mispronouncing his name, but Daniel Di Nicuolo. I'm so sorry if I butchered that, but it's such a great book, and it just does not stop. It does not stop delivering just quality work. I guess you could say just quality. Um, Before I get started, let me remind you to subscribe and share with any of your friends if you like what I say. If you disagree with anything I say, please let me know in the comments. I would let you know why you're wrong, or I will apologize and let you know why, or let you know that you are right, I am wrong, and I agree with whatever you said. But I don't know, I'm rarely wrong, so I don't know. Let me go ahead and go into the recap. Before I get to the recap of number 8, though, what I vaguely remember from number 7 is it was mainly a story about Casper and his how his little journey when he got lost from the group, when they went inside the portal from one of the other secrets, from one portal to the other. In between then, Casper got lost. He found these, I don't know what they're called, I'm just gonna say creatures. He found these two creatures that actually raised him, along with other beings in this dimension. He gained a new sword. He was able to um, you were just able to remember his past that he had completely forgotten. And then immediately we open up here where it says the world found out about the first secret before they did. And at this point, as I'm reading, I'm very confused by that, um, just because that makes no sense. They weren't there, but they were there when the first secret was revealed. And as I'm talking about it right now, I'm realizing they weren't there. They jumped through the portal, and the first was there. And the first, Tajana, she died along with everybody else that was there, because it was the very first secret opened. It was like some kind of atomic bomb, and I'm kind of going straight into the future here, but it destroyed all of Switzerland, all of it. It's known as a country killer. It's what happened to Atlantis. It's one of the last things that Tajana said. She went out like a badass, saying, calling everybody in that room like a stupid, ignorant, dumbass. I don't know what she said, but yeah, that's what it was. So okay, now that makes more sense. But yeah, I was confused by that statement. Just of the world found out what the first secret is before them. Um, but then Casper makes it back by the end of the issue, number 7, and now we go into where they made it, which was in one of the catacombs in Paris. It's one of the secret facilities, so there is one person there guarding it, and she comes in around the corner and like tells everybody to stop, and it's just this like little details. The next scene is everybody else turning towards her and just like ready to attack, and just the art does a great job of conveying that. There's like little action lines all pointing towards you. I don't know. I just really love it. As soon as my eyes went down to that little panel, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I love this. Just a great scene in general. And then let's see. The girl that was there, her name is Fayette, and she does ask, because she's been there for a long time and she hasn't seen people in a while, so she's like, how did you guys get in here? And I don't know who it was. I don't know the person's name, but of course they answered in the most. Actually, it's annoying, but it's kind of the way I would answer as well, honestly. But he just says like it's a secret, like it's a shut up, man. And she goes, of course it is, right? So next we go over to Amon, and that actually answers my question that I had from the last issue, which was what happened to Amon. Is he still locked up by Veritas? I think that's her name. Veritas? I don't know. Whoever he was working with backstabbed him, locked him up, and I was wondering if he was still locked up and if he would continue to be locked up even after the failure of the last mission. And this answered my question perfectly. He is currently being released. Whoever's releasing him is apologizing and updating him on what happened. And not only is he updating him by like just talking, but he shows him a video, and Amon's mom is Tajana, so he does witness his mother's death. And you would think that he wouldn't care. He doesn't care because he's the villain of this story, but it affects him a lot. He starts crying, and the idiot behind him is like, "Why do you even care?" And he doesn't even get to finish his sentence. Amon beats the shit out of him, bloody. Like it's bad. I'm sure if this ever gets like a live action adaptation, it's gonna be a bloody scene. But Amon actually does care, and it did remind me that it's okay that I'm convincing myself it's okay to feel bad for him, because his intentions, while his actions are evil and he's doing the wrong thing, going about it the completely wrong way, his reasoning, it makes sense. And he's like, why should you sacrifice? He's talking to Casper at this point. Why should you sacrifice your whole life for something you don't even know about? Like he's talking about the cases. Nobody knows what's inside their secrets, right? These are secrets, and yet the holder and the keeper are supposed to just sacrifice their whole lives for it. And he started to question that. He grew up in it, and eventually started to question it, and eventually groups himself with some people that also just want the power or whatever. But I don't think that he wants the power for himself. I think he just wants to do away with them so nobody has to live a life the way he had to. And it's not very evil, that while he is a villain, I am not doubting that for a second. He cut off Sigurd's head, and that was just too far. He's evil, but his intentions aren't necessarily evil, and that makes it for a very good villain. But he's released, and then we get back to the catacombs, yeah. And here's where I throw out a theory that I just want to say, just because today is May 12th, 2021. I want to say it just to get it out there, just to say that I said it, but it might not come out to be true. But Eva, Casper's mom, she's saying some kind of speech about how there has been, what's the word here? What am I looking for? Suspicion of someone being a traitor in that group. And she starts off by saying, I don't think that anybody here is a traitor. I have risked my life for all of you, and you have all risked your lives for me. I don't believe there's a traitor here. I think she's the traitor. Even though she was the one that was going to shoot. This is what it's hard to believe, but that'll make it even more compelling if it turns out to be true. But she's the one that shot for a headshot at Amon and was stopped by Tajana. But I think she may be saying this just to kind of get the suspicion off the group, for everyone to stop suspecting each other, so she cannot be suspected. I think Eva might be the inside man that Amon has. That would be the unlikely choice, because Amon at the very end, let me just skip forward, at the very end Amon does say, I still have an inside man. So he confirms that he does have someone on the inside. I think it's Eva. That's my long shot. But if it's not Eva, the obvious choice is the guy that bullied Casper. He's really big, got the blonde hair. He's just very reckless, and so that's the obvious choice. Either way, I'm pretty sure that I'm not gonna guess it, and it is what it is. But if it turns out to be Eva, I'm gonna lose my head, But I really do think she's just being suspicious right now by saying that. But it could also be a kind of morale thing. Let's stop suspecting each other and just survive. We need to survive. They need to survive, grieve, and just gather their bearings, honestly. But at this point, then we get to like the whole they discover what happened to the world. They look at the surveillance that Fayette has in that facility, and they see just a bunch of news reports saying Switzerland's gone, destroyed, burned to the edges. So I wonder if this bomb, it destroys exactly whatever country it's in, like to because they're talking about the borders being burned to a crisp, or if it's like a specific amount. I'm thinking that it's the former, which is they the bomb destroys whatever. So if your country is the size of this room, and I open that container, the first secret, I'm sure that only this room would be destroyed if it was like legally that size. I would assume, but that would make sense for the burned edges that they keep talking about. Um, After seeing that, Eva starts taking charge. We need to get out here. We need to find another place, another safe place. And she sends Laqueta, who doesn't speak. She speaks sign language, and Falan, who I think he also speaks sign language with her, but he can talk. And this is one of the things that I really like about this book, is that they shine in their field. They were sent out to go find anybody that might be a threat and take them out. And if they can't take them out themselves, to come back for reinforcements. And the scenes where they just find what's his name, Falan, he just finds one person on a rooftop, takes him out immediately, but just stealthily, immediately, effectively. It's just amazing. And Laqueta finds a whole room full of people, and she just wipes them out. What I like about this book is, like, while it is a story about Casper, who you see right here, it is a story about Casper, but everyone has their chance to shine. And it's not like he is the protagonist, like any kind of anime and stuff like that. The protagonist is the strongest person. He's not the strongest, as far as we know so far. He is not the strongest. He's a young pup. But everyone else, they hold their own, basically. And that's, like I said, that's one of the things that I love about this book. So then on top of that, you have Xing, who was sent to go find transport. So she's the transport person, I guess. And he is, like, while he's not like a badass action wise to where Falan and Laqueta are, he shines in his field, or she shines in her field. She finds a tour guide bus, and everyone's like, "This is what you found, like this is what it is." And she's like, "In Paris, nobody pays attention to tour buses. Trust me." And for the most part, she's right. But as soon as they start taking off, they're being chased. Nobody's surprised by it. They were hoping to get away scot-free, but of course, people show up. They start chasing them. This guy that I was talking about, his bully, Casper's bully, he's like, "Well, let's take him out. We can take him." And he like grabs a gun. The guy that's dressed like the 80s, like Vice City, I don't know his name either, but he kind of just stops him. He's like, "Hey, we don't want to make a scene. We need to get away, but we need to get away quietly." So at this moment, Xing takes a couple of turns, and then someone says like, "Hey, they're still following us," and she's like, "Oh, really? Oh, that's stupid." And I'm so happy that she does this, because any movie, any comic book, any media whatsoever, when there's a high-speed chase, my first question is always, why don't you just stop? Everyone's going 100 miles an hour. If you stop, their reaction to when you stop, they're gonna get ahead to a certain point where you can go away another way. Like, brakes exist for a reason, and it's just they're underused. And she positions herself to where they're in a narrow road. So when she realizes that they're still following her, she just hits that brake, and these people are on bikes, so they immediately run into her. And for the people that survive this crash and stuff, the rest of the crew, they just They don't even need to be told. This is amazing. They just jump into action. Everybody jumps out. They take out these chasers one by one. And last but not least, Casper goes and uses his new sword. And like, I think he decapitates somebody, but it's amazing. It shows you that the training works. They are all working beautifully together. And that whole action scene, it's a bunch of panels, 2 pages, no dialogue, and it's beautiful. Like I said, the art in this is just amazing. No dialogue is needed for you to know what's going on and to feel like your heart rate's just going watching this. I love it. I love it so much. And then finally, the next page is, like I said earlier, Amon says that he needs to talk to the council, and someone's like, well, why would they want to talk to you? And he's like, well, I still got someone on the inside, and so they're going to want to talk to me because I can still get what they want. And that's it. That's how it ends. I'm excited for number 9. I have no idea what to expect, but this book, of course, it's an 8. Like, everything about it, action pace was phenomenal. The story, the fact, I can't get over this, the fact that I personally feel for the villain of the story. Like, I don't think that he's wrong. I don't think that he's like, oh, he's definitely the villain. You gotta stop him. He needs to be stopped. It's like, whoa, he's got a point. He's not doing it right. You need to stop him because he's going about it the wrong way. But his reasonings aren't wrong, right? So if you can get me to back the villain at that point, then I'm gonna back him, and that's I gotta give you a point for that. So this is 8.5. If you haven't started reading Seven Secrets, get the trade paperback and get caught up and read this, because you don't want to miss out. This is how I feel like this is kind of like Invincible level. Honestly, I can't talk too much about that. I never read Invincible as a comic book, but I just watched the show, and the show is I love it. That's a whole nother video. I can talk about that for a whole nother video. But one of the things that I regret is not reading the comic. So do yourself a favor. Don't regret. A couple years from now, when it comes out, Seven Secrets is gonna do something. Don't regret not reading it from the beginning. Go get it. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. Thank you for watching. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Share this with your friends. Be a true hero. Subscribe and share. That's all it takes to be a hero in my book. All right. So go ahead and do that. And if you're not already, you can also follow me on Manny Reads Comics. I do post some other comic reviews there that I don't feel like doing a video for, but I will post it on Instagram. Other than that, thank you for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye.